And I think tonight there's a little, we've seeing a lot of faces now and hearing a lot of the names on Facebook and emailing here and there. It's been really great to feel like a larger community. I think we all knew how many people that Elliott affected, how many people Elliott was friends with. But it's really great to see all those faces and to see all those names and to continue that as we go forward. So.
Hello, I'm Elliott's Aunt Irene, and this morning I spoke about how fortunate I felt that I got to spend Thursday night, which was his last night with us, with Elliott, and how wonderful it was. But I was then thinking about so many of the wonderful times we had together, and tonight I really feel is a time to celebrate those wonderful moments, because that's what we can take with us now, just the good memories. Of course, along with the tears that we won't be able to create more. So, I was thinking back many years ago. I actually forgot, I didn't look up the date, but many years ago, his Uncle Ron and I took Elliott and Jason on a trip to Florida, Orlando, Florida, to go to Disney World and Epcot Center. Yeah. And, we just messed up in so many ways. First thing, we ran late. That was probably my fault, because I'm pretty bad. Here we had these two, I think they were 11 and 12, could be, but they're young. So Elliott was 11 and his cousin Jason was 12. And Ron drops us off at the airport that we're supposed to go to. That's Continental, I'm sure. Anyway, and he goes looking for parking. And I'm with these two little boys, and we're running to the airline. He says, so we had like a half hour to get on the plane, but we couldn't get on without my husband. We didn't want to. And Ron was trying to look for parking, and he was driving around the airport crazy, and then he took an exit by mistake. Anyway, we wound up all missing the plane. So that was the first thing to go wrong. But how did the boys take it? How did Elliott take it? We just had fun. We took another plane. So there's, instead of getting to Florida early, we got to Florida late. But we just had a ball in the airport. They hadn't been to the airport before. It's a cool airport. So turned out fine. Next day we go to, it was Epcot Center, that's where we went. And we were having a wonderful time going to the different attractions. It was time for lunch. We went to a Chinese restaurant. They have all these different themes and different kinds of restaurants. And apparently whatever Elliott and Jason and Ron ordered, I'm vegetarian, so it didn't affect me. They all got food poisoning. So that was our second day. And it didn't hit them right away. We were able to still enjoy the rest of the day, get back to the hotel, and the boys and Ron are just puking their guts out. So this is the second day of our great trip. But they still, we had gotten 2 rooms, and Elliott and Jason were just both so, just excited, like grown-ups. They had their own hotel room with, 2 double beds. And even though they had to keep running to the bathroom, we still, we were right next door. We just kept running back and forth. And we still just, in between, the getting sick, we were just still laughing. He just, it didn't let him get him down. It still didn't change, how we were able to enjoy the trip. And by the next day, they were fine. And I remember they were doing, go-kart racing, and that's when we went to Disney World. Anyway, we still just managed to have a wonderful time. And ever since then, I think Elliott has had a problem with chicken. Right? And that's, so if anyone ever wondered where that came from, that's what I wanted to share. So, I just invite whatever you can think of to celebrate the good times that you've had with dear Elliott.
I'm Burl's cousin, Martha. My mother and Elliott's grandmother were sisters. And his generation of the grandchildren of Mary and my mom are pretty spread out over the country now. I've talked to several of them in the last couple of days. And one of the things that they've been asking me is, did he have friends? And I knew that he did, but I had no idea what a wonderful large community of friends. I'm so happy to be able to go back and tell them that he had friends that he loved and that loved him. And though he went so young, he did have a rich life. So thank you all for being here and for having been here.
Hi, my name is Ellen Zawacki. My children are Kim and Rob, and I have known Elliott forever. Forever. With Rob and Elliott and Andy and Matt and Dave and, everybody would come to our house and they'd hang out for a while, they'd skateboard, and then they'd go off and do their little graffiti, as they call it, but I called it great artwork. With Kim and Elliott were in the same grade. And I remember Elliott just always put a smile on my face. He was just a wonderful, wonderful person. I loved his hugs. Every time I saw him, he was a great hugger. And he just made me smile every time I saw him. Recently at Kim's parties, her Halloween party, I'd see Elliott. I didn't get to see him as everybody grew up and kind of went on their own little ways. And one day I called Braune-Friedman, and Elliott answered the phone. And I said, hi, my name is Ellen Zawacki. He goes, hi, Mrs. Zawacki, it's Elliott. And I just have such wonderful memories of him and all of their friends. I mean, they were my extended family. All their friends were my extended family. So I just have wonderful thoughts of him, and I loved him.
And I also cared about you a lot, and used to see you at the town,
I
and
know.
go there.
Just a great king. So just wanted to let you know how much I loved her. I'm so sorry.
For those of you that know me, you all know how close Elliott was to me, my best friend. And there's really no words to describe how important he was to me. Been friends since middle school, 12 years old. I'm 30 now, so we really grew up together. And not just as children, but as adults. And I'm extremely involved in graffiti culture, and Elliott was always a very big supporter of it, and very dedicated to arts and culture. And these were the things that made him tick. These were the things that made him excited. And he's the best friend a guy could have. He really was. And and Kevin and these guys that are here that I used to take him painting a lot. That's they really encouraged him to really do his art and to really share with everybody. And I don't think people really understand that it's not just about really doing the art, but the camaraderie that really comes along with all of it. How much time and effort we all spend on these projects and late hours and trips to other cities to paint for 3-4 days straight and just have a couple beers at the end of the night. That's what we did. And it's not very different from people who look forward to playing basketball on the weekends with their friends. It's just artistic, and it's just what we all really enjoy doing. And thanks for raising the nicest, most warm-hearted person I have in my life. I'd like to thank Kevin and all these guys for really encouraging him to really do his artwork and share it with the world. And thank you all.
Thank you, Jim.
Friends with Elliott for about 10 years now, and I think everybody in the room probably has a story about him making them laugh in at least one very memorable way. So I just want to share a story that sticks out in my mind. Jason and I just spoke, lived together at one point. It was some months after Halloween, so there was a surplus of extra costumes lying around. A bunch of us just hanging out on any given Friday or Saturday. And I remember there being some odd amount of tension between some of the people that were there. And Elliott just wandered off and came back, and without making any reference to how he had come back, found a 6-foot banana costume. walked into the room in a 6-foot banana costume and just sat down. I got a joke. And it just brought levity to the whole situation, and I think that's who Elliott was. Elliott was the guy in the 6-foot banana costume. No matter what the scenario, he could come in and make you happy, make you laugh, make you smile, because that's just what it was in him to do.
Very good, very good.
What's your name?
My name's Matt.
Matt.
Matt Fowler. Elliott and
I know
friends
the
for a while.
name. Matt Fowler.
My name is Jamie. I knew Elliott from the graffiti culture and also from the hardcore scene, which is another culture that was important to both of us. I knew him as Positive Elliott. That's what I always called him. I was referred to him as that because he was the guy who, no matter what you said, he would have good advice. He would have a positive spin to put on it, have a way to make you feel better. No matter what he was going through, it always seemed, he found a bright spot no matter what he said. He would always end, but it's all right because, yeah, whatever. He always had a positive spirit. And I was talking to a friend of ours the other day about this. He would say the one guy who could make him feel better about his loss would have been him. One guy isn't here to say something to make him feel better. And if we can find anything positive about this, any bright side to this, anything we can take from this is that we should keep his spirit with us and try to be more like that, try to look for positives, try to, apply his spirit to our everyday lives.
I'm Sal Tavano. I went to high school with Elliott. Elliott was a few years younger than me, but me and my friends, we would hung out with him. And when we hung out with him, it was never like we were hanging out with this underclassman. He was, whenever he was just more of the gang. Because I think it was because no matter what, he was always himself. People tell you, in situations, oh, just be yourself. Elliott really did it. He always was himself. And it's harder to do than, you imagine, but he just did that so effortlessly. And, I didn't see him as much as I would have liked to over the years. But anytime we saw each other, it was always so good to see him. And, like Jamie said, he didn't have a negative in his body. He always saw the bright side to everything, even when things weren't going so good for him. If he's having many kind of personal problems, he never dwelled on it. And he was just always so fun to be around. I can't remember a time when he was, mean, or any time he looked down on anybody or said anything negative about anyone. And that's, I think that's how I'd like to remember him. And I wish I could be more like that.
people know me as OVIE. And Elliott was a great inspiration to me. I remember I had got in trouble with the law where I had to turn myself in to do a state bid because of graffiti. And I remember him coming to my farewell party. You know, it was a little gathering for me before I had to go to prison. And he was so moral for words for me. It lifted up my spirit. It made me feel that my life wasn't over. And when he came by, he was just a trip. He made me laugh. Oh man, he came with 2 girls, and he says, "Listen, Ovi, I'm the pimp. Which one do you want?" And he just had me rolling. And I remember when I first met Elliott around 96, 97, I remember he was such a huge fan of my work that, you know, I embraced him as much as I could. I remember there was times me, Jason, Pedro, a couple of us, they always used to tell me, "Listen, do you want to go up to see Elliott?" Because I lived in the border of Yonkers in the Bronx, and I would come home from work tired, not wanting to do nothing, tell everybody else that I wasn't going to go hang with them. But the minute they told me that they were going to go see Elliott, man, like, the tiredness became motivational for me to go see him. Like, he brought that out of me. I would never deny to go see him because every time I was with Elliott, it was like a comfort of relief. I would have so much in my mind where I would just want to blow my head off, but as soon as I was with Elliott, it was like he was the item of comfort. Like, you got near him, you was comfortable, you was stress-free, and you was enjoying who you was. You know, like, he really brought me together and made me feel alive. And it's sad that this happened, and, you know, I'll always be grateful for him reaching out to me and giving me the moral support throughout my good times and bad times. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
That's funny.
Hello, my name is Jeff. I've worked with Elliott for 3 years. He was a co-worker of mine, and he will definitely be missed. He was a very good guy. He was very good to me. Anything I needed, he was there for me, and I'm a very miss him very much. Love you, Elliott.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Sean. Elliott was one of my first friends at Hen Hut High School. Welcomed me with open arms, and just an all-around decent guy, great guy, never had an enemy, and don't know too many people like that. He's a great person, just a shame, and I'm gonna miss him.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is David Nolan. I'm gonna miss Elliott. He was a great person. Definitely way too young. And I'm sure everybody loved him. I don't know anybody that didn't like Elliott. It's definitely a loss for everybody. And I hope everybody does well. I hope everybody feels okay after this.